So if you're looking for a Surveyor 123 but the cost has really kept you away, I might have found you a little bit of a more economical design here. This is the iWalker G43 Gas Camping Stove. Let's test it out. All right, folks, welcome back. So this is an interesting little stove. Now, I've been using this now for about a week, on and off, testing it out. And for me, this thing works pretty darn good. I do have a complaint with it as it comes from the factory or the store, and that is the silent burner cap. You'll notice I have the traditional burner cap on there. It does come with both. Okay. It is a little bit louder, but let me tell you, it is far quicker burn time and boil time and everything than the silent cap. The silent cap just didn't seem to have any oomph to it. I will show you all the accessories it comes with quickly here. Of course, you have a manual. And I'm mentioning the accessories because of the burner cap. You will get a little funnel to fill it up. And I just use regular Coleman gas camping stuff on here, gas camp peel. I didn't use anything fancy. This is the silent burner. Now, I did test it, and I really didn't like it, honestly. The nice part is it's interchangeable, and they give you this one too. So basically how you'll change that is there are screws along here on the sides. Take out those screws. You'll put in, what I did, because it was in there pretty good, is I just put in a screwdriver across like this and twisted it and to start it, to break it free, and it came right off. So that's my review of the burner. The silent burner, I don't know, just didn't do it for me. This burner, however, isn't all that loud and actually boils a whole lot faster. So with that said, here are the rest of the supplies, and they will give you a rebuild kit here. This is kind of neat. It has all the seals and gaskets and everything you possibly need to rebuild it. As far as keeping this clean, this does have a needle. It's kind of like the Surveyor 123R. This does have a needle that will come up and clean out any of the carbon deposits in your gas center in the middle there. And you also get another one of these as well that will go up in there. So I'm very, very pleased with the stove itself. I just did not like the silent cap burner. Just didn't do it for me. What I am going to do is kind of let you know a little bit about the stove itself. Now, I will say something. It definitely simmers better than the Surveyor. You can turn this down a whole lot better than the Surveyor ever did. I mean, the Surveyor is pretty much full on or almost off. This one, you can kind of simmer, turn it down a little bit better. It is easy to maintain with that embedded needle. Like I said, you're just going to turn that thing up and down in there and clean it out after use. I find that with Coleman gas, you're probably not going to need to do that. If you're actually using gasoline, which I really wouldn't do, you may need to clean that out, or other types of fuels. But with the Coleman white gas, I've had no problems with it. It is a very thick tank design on the bottom, so you have a little added safety on that. Even though this will get a little warm, it's much thicker and it's much better protected. So to light this is fairly simple, of course. On the side here, you have your little gas filler there, your little door there. You're going to pour this in here through there. Fill it up with whatever fuel you decide to use. Like I said, I'm using the white Coleman gas. I'm going to put this stuff out of the way here. And you're going to prime it like you would a Surveyor. You're going to put alcohol or whatever in the center there. I'll show you that down the middle here. And it is actually kind of indented there, so you have a good little reservoir to build up the heat really nice. You are going to use your key on here to make sure it's fully closed before you start this up. You definitely want it to be fully closed before you start. Now, this will be very stiff in the beginning, okay? But that's okay. It will loosen up over time. And when you're using the stove, you definitely want to keep the key separated and not in there. Otherwise, it will get very, very hot. So that's really about it. So what we're going to do today is give it a quick test. This is not a stove I recommend for indoor use because of the priming. I am using it in a controlled environment here. I have my door open, of course. Do have a little fire extinguisher nearby should anything happen. But I wouldn't use this indoors, or maybe you can prime it outdoors and then bring it in once it's running. But it really wouldn't be something I'd use indoors. But for a camp or a bug out kit or car camping or car bug out kit, pretty darn nice system. It does require fuel, but other than that, pretty cool. So I'm going to make sure this is all sealed up here. They do give you a little bottle to store your rubbing alcohol in for priming it, and we are just going to dump that in the center there. And it is nice to have a nice big reservoir in there, so you do have a lot of, how did I do? Good. A lot of room in there to put some stuff in there to warm it up. So let's light it up. I got my lighter here. There we go. And I'm going to turn off the top light so you can see. I don't know if you can see it in there, but it is burning. And that will warm up your top here. And once that's completely out, please don't light it before it's fully out. You'll have one heck of a mess. Wait until this is fully primed. Then turn your key and light the top. I found that when I did that with other similar stoves like this, what you'd have is once the fuel got a little bit warm, it would start spitting out and you have fire going everywhere. So we're going to let this prime up. Put the light back on for you. Let this prime up, and once it's primed up, I'll bring you back and we'll light it up and see just how well this thing performs. All right, so it's starting to die down now. Mostly died out. And we are going to turn it on and see how this works. All right. Like I said, this will be very stiff when you first get it. There we go. Okay, so as you see, that lit very, very easily. It's very low right now. But as you can tell, that started off pretty darn quick. I don't have it up all the way. We're going to let it run a little bit, and then we're going to time 2 cups of water and see how quickly I can get this thing moving. All right, so you can hear that familiar roar there. It's definitely going. Give it about 2 minutes to get going. I got 2 cups of water on here. I do have a bit of a wider Keith titanium pot. We are starting our stopwatch here. Okay. So we're going to see how long that takes. Cover it up using the stove today. And I'll bring you back once we're boiling and we got some results. All right, looks like we're boiling. Let's get the steam out of there. Yep, rolling boil. Let's stop the thing. 3 minutes and 13 seconds. And there's your rolling boil. Very impressive. I got to say, that's a very fast boil time for this little stove. Let me turn the stove off. And it is able to be held down there. And there you go. Off like that. Real simple to use. I'm going to put a glove on here so I don't burn my hand. But very, very simple to use. In a 3 minute and 13 second burn time, that is a boil time for 2 cups of water. That is very, very impressive. I got to say, I really like that for the boil times. So if you're doing something where you're camping and you want to maybe do your stuff with just freeze-dried meals and entrees, you can be eating in almost record time. I do like it. I use, again, white gas for that, and I use the 91% isopropyl alcohol. You can use heat as well to prime it. It definitely worked great. I'm impressed by the quality for such an inexpensive stove. Compared to the Surveyor 123, this is half the price. So definitely cool. Now, there are some drawbacks with a stove like this. Again, if you have to move quickly, all right, unless you're somewhere where there's a whole lot of snow and you can cool it down rapidly, it's kind of hard to cool down quickly. You have to let this kind of cool down on its own. I would definitely not risk throwing that in a backpack or a bag. This does come with a bag. And I would give that a good while to cool down before I would think about stuffing that in a backpack. So you do have some give and take with it, but the boil times are so quick on it. And for 2 cups of water for 3 minutes and 13 seconds, that's pretty amazing. The weight on it's about a pound. That's unfilled. It'll be a little bit more with fuel in there. There is a line up here that has a max fill. They don't want you to go above that. I'm probably down to about here because I burned this a couple of times, just testing it out. And the product dimensions are 3.9 inches by 3.9 inches by 5.1 inch tall. And that includes these little offsets here. And these do move like the Surveyor as well. Half price of the Surveyor. The Surveyor right now, as of yesterday, is going for $128.95. This here is going for $65.90. So you can kind of have the same feel to it. Definitely quick boil time. And really have a nice little kit on your hands. I would imagine this would fit into a cook set, and you could kind of get it all set in there. That gosh, I forget who makes it. My Surveyor is actually in it, and it's the thermal cook set with the fins on the bottom, and I'm sure that would fit in there perfectly. Again, you got to remember to put this in a bag. You don't want that fuel leaking out somehow and getting into your cook set and then contaminating your food. But definitely a cool thing. I'm impressed. It's half the cost of the Surveyor 123. So what I will do is give you a link down below Like I said, as the making of this video, these were $65.90. I believe Lixada makes a similar stove like this too. This was just the one I was able to find, and it's the iWalker G43 Gas Camping Stove. And I gotta say, it's actually pretty darn good. Really impressive. How it will hold up? Well, we'll find out in the channel, because I'll use this more often in the channel, and we'll see how this thing holds up. Anyway, folks, I thank you for joining me. The link for this will be down below if you're interested in checking it out in the Amazon store. If there's nothing in the store you like, just click the link and shop as you normally would. We really do appreciate when you guys do that. Helps out the channel a whole lot. Our freeze-dried wholesaler link is below that. You'll save 15% with freeze-dried wholesalers. Now, I have a really cool video for them coming up soon. So if you like the content and you like freeze-dried wholesalers, you definitely got to check it out. Subscribe to the channel and check it out when we put it up. That'll be probably next week sometime. We have our My Patriot supply link. Now, this month, you got $200 off the 3-month kit and a free water filter, gravity water filter. Same one I'm using in my home every day. I trust the thing. It is an awesome water filter. It's like a $200, $260 something value. So essentially, you're getting close to over $400 off for that kit. You're getting the food minus $200 in savings, plus the free water filter. So it's definitely a good deal. And we also have smaller kits as well, 2-week and 4-week kits on there as well. And our Thrive Life freeze-dried food store. If you're interested in some really good, high-quality freeze-dried food, check out Thrive Life. Anyway, folks, I thank you for watching. I'm going to let this cool off. Stay safe and stay prepared.